So, good night, good night. Wanted to come to you guys tonight, doing a little bit something different here, working with some software and stuff like that. But bear with me, trying to see what I can do with the production value of this whole channel in general. But wanted to talk about it's an asset, not a religion. I see this quite often in myself and just in any type of movement that is following maybe an asset or an asset class. We turn these things into religions, to deities, to things that we worship on a regular basis. Um, I've been in the prepper community. Some people are preppers and they talk about prepping and things like that. Oh, sorry, actually the people that talk about prepping, I believe they actually do it. Like, you can see it in the videos and things like that. They'll actually show their Berkey water filters. They'll show their rations provisions, their bunkers. They'll show their bug out bags and other things like that, and their plans. And then there's the people that are in the comment section. Now, the people in the comment section are looking at what these people do, myself included. Well, often looking at these people as like, whoa, how did they do that? How much money did they spend on it? Uh, how can I be like that? It'll be great living off, like off grid. It'll be great living with no this bill or that bill or this type of water and versus that type of water. But we often think about the good in all of it and not really the bad. So, staying on the prepper side of things, and I'll take this to finance in a moment, but especially with like dealing with well water. So, the city that I live in, or the town that I live, or city that I live in is very small, but the city that I live in, they have something called cancer clusters. There's actually been contamination in the ground that has affected the actual water in the area. And if you're getting water from the well or from a well, like your well pump or something like that, then there's a possibility that you're going to possibly, or sorry, is an increased chance that you will get some form of cancer. They've actually shown where cancer levels have risen, and especially children in the area are a little bit more prone to getting cancer if you're on the local water. So that's just one way of getting it. So I was made aware of this when I was like in the training for Lowe's, and the lady was like, "Yeah, bottled water only. Don't ever drink the water. Don't ever drink the water around here unless it's filtered of some sort." And I never did anyway because I just never trusted like well water, and my house is not connected to well water. I have city water even though I'm in the county space. So uh, what we think about, like, that would tarnish the beauty of what we think about in terms of, oh wow, I'm going to be out here in the wilderness and doing this and doing that, so on and so forth. And it's like, it, we make these things into the dream of it, the not the nightmare that it actually is, or the reality really of it, because it's a mixture of both, of your sweet dreams and your most horrific nightmares of what happens, the true cost of everything, the fact that there's bears out here, or there might be bobcats, or any other type of wildlife. For me, for instance, there's a lot of wasps. All right, so into assets, we make these things into religions, especially in the precious metals sector of YouTube. A lot of people look at precious metals and they're like, well, it's real money. The Fed is no more Fed is no more federal than Federal Express, and so on and so forth. And uh, gold and silver is the real money, so on and so forth. It has this much value, has intrinsic value, so on and so forth. But these things are assets. They're asset classes, if you will. If you take a step back and look at it objectively, yeah, silver and gold holds value. I mean, I keep an ounce of silver on me at all times. Like, I always have an ounce of silver on me. It's just a coin I keep on my in my wallet. But it's not something that I am beholden to. It's not something that I have fierce loyalty to. I will keep it. I will buy more into it once the mania dies down a little bit, if it ever does. But once the mania dies down, I'll get back into silver and I'll have it as an asset class, something to diversify myself even more. It has done well for me. I've mentioned it multiple times that silver has helped me buy this house that I'm in. I cashed out my silver. I've cashed out my silver multiple times. I had 255 ounces at one point, cashed all of that out, and made an investment into a salon. That was a horrible investment. It didn't work out well for me, I should say. But I learned from it, so on and so forth. The good, whatever. Anyway, silver lining, all that BS. But I got another position in silver. I built up another position in silver, and I got up to 135 ounces. It got to $23 an ounce. I wanted to buy a house. I cashed out. I got $3,000 in my hand. I was able to go ahead and put a down payment on my home, along with some other things. Same thing with cryptocurrencies. Now, cryptocurrencies is one of those where it bites you in the butt if you don't hold it for a long period of time. But at the same time, if I look at the asset and what it's actually done for me, it's allowed me to stay out of debt for long periods of time. It's allowed me to make investments in other places. It's also just, kind of been a bit of a hedge, if you will, against the other market downturns or anything else like that. Now, I do see where you don't have to worry about a coupling or decoupling, or we have to worry about the coupling to traditional markets, your stocks and bonds and such like things like that, because when you have problems in the stock market, it affects cryptocurrencies, even though they're supposed to be different, separate markets altogether, or they're not the same, so on and so forth. So I've seen where these markets really kind of like, if cryptos are going down, or if stock market's going down and crypto's going down, because a lot of people are using that money and they have quite a bit in crypto so they can cover their losses on, or maybe even buy more stable companies, and it's a little bit of a sale. But these aren't religions, these are assets. Just think about that. They're not something that you need to stay loyal to for a long period of time. Even silver, I know silver is something that is going to hold its value for a long period of time. It has a lower point of entry than gold. It is something that I can actually sell in and out of with my previous dealer, and I can get pretty easily if I order it off of eBay. And the silver I ordered off of eBay was legit, no problem. I used to buy 5 ounces a month back when it was $14 to $17 an ounce. So it's something where I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, this is an asset that's supposed to get me somewhere. Don't forget the goal in retirement. Don't forget the goal in whatever investment that you're trying to make. These investments are here to make you money, or they're here to be a store of value of your money at a certain point in time that will help you hedge against inflation, or even hedge against deflation in some cases. With the value of your money going down. Well, inflation is the dilution of your currency, but then deflation is the devaluing of your currency to a certain extent. I could be wrong. I'll look into that a little bit. But these are things that are supposed to help you hold value on a regular hold value in your portfolio. If you need to, get out of them. Get into something else. Don't stick around and just be like, okay, I'm going to hold the bag. I'm just going to hodl till it goes to zero. I believe in it. Some things you can do that with, and some things you shouldn't. So don't think of these investments as something or these assets as something that you have to just stick with all the time. Think of these investments as the tools, the vehicles, the money that you need to pay for your fare to get to financial independence, retire early, get to, I want to buy this in a couple of years, get to, I want to pay off this debt because of the returns on my investment, YOLO moves. This is supposed to fund my retirement. This is supposed to buy this for my child, a car, what have you. That's what these things are. They're nothing else. Dollar Will put it he put it very succinctly, but he's like, we're all traders. It's just the time frame in which we trade is different. And that's the thing you want to focus on. We're all traders. At some point, you're going to have to trade out of these assets, or you're going to have to pass it on to someone else that will trade out of that asset. You pass on your home. You pass on your Any like maybe land, you pass on silver, gold. You pass on, you have beneficiaries in your retirement plan, or sorry, not retirement plan, but your general investment account. You know, you're passing these things on. If anything, you're never going to keep them. So don't be too loyal to them. Use them as they're supposed to be used. Use them to actually fulfill your goals. As I always say, if you're not taking what I say with a grain of salt, and you're low on sodium. And in other news, I'm starting juicing, so I'm trying to stay low on sodium. I kind of had a crazy binge week this week. There's a lot of steaks, ice creams, pizzas, a lot of stuff. It was great. It was great. But yeah. Anyways, I'll talk about that later in another video. As always, thanks for listening. Appreciate you.